all sorts of different stories where we've had a great time. I'm not sure I can share them all here, but
yeah, actually,
they've involved some late nights and a lot of amazing cities, and I think that's
Okay, so I'm super excited today filming the next instalment of Maria Meets. I've got one of my amazing colleagues that's flown in all the way from New York. It's this guy, Mr. Richard Jordan.
It's awesome to be here.
Well, of course, you're one of the few that have made the initial cut.
I feel very honored.
Yeah, so you should.
Yeah.
So you should. For those of you that don't know, Richard and I have actually worked together for 5 years?
6 years.
6 years now. Work very closely as part of the Douglas Elliman Knight Frank Global Network. Now, obviously, I know exactly what you do, but do you want to tell everyone else out there a little bit about your role and how we work together?
Yeah, of course. So I run the Global Markets Division for Douglas Elliman Development Marketing, and really my job is to liaise with Knight Frank into international markets, whether that's Knight Frank agents, their clients, private bankers, wealth advisors, and advise all of them on the state of the U.S. market and represent their buyers.
Yeah. And
a lot of travel.
A lot of travel.
A lot of travel.
A lot of travel. I think you said to me the other day, in the last 3 weeks, you've literally flown around the globe.
I have.
Right?
Yeah.
So where were you?
On this trip, it was Jakarta, Manila, and Seoul, and then London, back to New York, and then now Dubai.
Finishing in the best place.
Of course, yes.
Of course.
Yes.
Coming to see me in Dubai. And we had some fun in Manila. We were just at our global conference for Asia Pacific.
Right.
So, yeah, that was an experience.
Yeah, it was experience.
First time in Manila for you as well, right?
Second time.
Second time.
Second time, yeah.
No, it was all good fun. We've been, as I say, working together just over 5 years, 5-6 years, and it's fantastic because our network at Douglas Elliman Knight Frank is, you know, as I always use the term, globally connected. But I think it's really important, obviously, that we not only, you know, focus on investment going into the US, but obviously you're completely across what we do at Knight Frank and our global network as well.
Right.
Arguably, you probably spend more time in our offices than you do your own. Would that be fair to say?
That'd be pretty close to accurate. I'm gone about 60% of the year, so yeah, that would make sense.
I mean, I thought I had a lot of air miles, but you must be getting. Were you upgraded this flight?
I was fortunately upgraded. You had a first class in Emirates. That's highly recommended.
Yeah, just for the record, we don't fly first class at Douglas Elliman and Knight Frank, so it's only when we get upgraded.
It's only because of the miles.
Yeah,
it's only because of the miles.
Just because of the miles. So at least there's some benefits to all that travel.
Yeah.
So taking work out of the equation, you've obviously been to some amazing destinations around the world.
Yeah.
I know it's quite hard to pick your favourites, but what would be, if you had to pick your top 3, what would you pick and why?
I think it's more just most amazing experiences, because every place depends on the people you're with or what the weather was like, or so for me, in between the travels, what I love to do is if I get a window of time before I have to be at the next destination, is to get on a motorcycle and go to different markets. So New Zealand was really fantastic. I did the entire South Island. Also, my girlfriend and I did all of Morocco on a motorcycle, which was amazing, and then we did Iceland together. And so I would say that those 3 places, and specifically New Zealand and Iceland, are really incredible.
That's good to hear, because I'm going to go to New Zealand, and I don't think I'll be on a motorbike, but I'll certainly be in some of the great wineries and vineyards. Did you go to any of those?
Yeah. I did.
Well, you need to.
I'll hook you up. Yeah, for sure.
What would you say is probably the main benefit of our global network? Because lots of our competitors, say they have global presence, but we formed the partnership between our 2 companies. That was around 5-6 years ago when we started working together. What would you say is the sort of the key benefit of that global connectivity?
Well, I think it's real-time information, and being able to network with clients. Our high net worth clients, wherever they are in the world, most of them own 4 or 5 different homes, right? And so they're diversifying into different markets, And once they establish trust with a local agent, to be able to have that local agent introduce them to someone in another market that's still within the same company, where internally we can communicate and make sure that we're giving the client the best service. That's invaluable. To know that, you know, we can come here to Dubai, you can set up a series of meetings for us, which are your clients, and then, you know, you can trust that I'm going to take care of your client. Because the global markets are fluctuating constantly. You know, it's a pretty uncertain time right now in the world, given, you know, what we're seeing in various markets politically. So money is continuing to move. The world's getting smaller, and I think it's just the real-time information that we can provide on each market, global trends in real time that they value.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think we touched on this yesterday actually with a client, a very high-profile client that we met in Dubai, as you say, about, you know, it's less about the geography now. I think it's about the opportunity. Because of that global market volatility.
Sure.
The clients coming to us, you know, saying what's the best opportunity across the globe, rather than I need a specific asset in
this
in that
market.
city. Yeah.
Yeah. Unless they're buying on behalf of their children, or they're relocating, you know, or opening a new business somewhere, then they're purely looking for an investment. And that's the kind of question that they asked us like yesterday. Yeah.
And I was actually with some of your colleagues in LA recently, and I was on a panel with those guys and was asking similar questions, or being asked similar questions. And going back to that kind of global agent angle, you know, we were asked, I was asked exactly what I've just asked you. And, you know, I said, I think everyone now has to be a global agent. Because if you're not, you're going to get left behind, because you do have to have that service element for our clients wherever they are.
Yeah, certainly if you're advising, you know, sort of the top 5% of the wealthiest in the world, right? I mean, if someone's at lower price points and individuals that are just buying one home or a couple homes throughout their lifetime, not necessarily, but I think when we're dealing with ultra high net worth clients, you definitely need to have a global network and be connected, because if you're not understanding how various markets are working around the world and how that may impact their investment decision, you're just not going to be able to add that kind of value.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so, you know, we are super fortunate because when we're traveling around the world, we get to see some of the very best prime and super prime assets. I mean, we represent the majority of them.
Right.
But, you know, in not in any specific markets, but while you've been traveling, what are some of the developments, like the key standout developments that you've seen?
I think 20 Grosvenor Square, London, is a really beautiful development by Then Chapman. They've just done a great job on finish quality, and so I really like that development. I got a chance to tour Odeon back in the day in Monaco.
Didn't you have, like, you know, was that in the days of selfies? I don't know, you've been doing it that long now.
No, I don't do selfies. Look at my Instagram. I'm not in any.
Yeah, but you did some like selfies. Pictures on the roof or something, didn't you? In the penthouse and
maybe a view shot with Peter, with Peter back in the day. Yeah.
I think, or maybe it was one of the Knight Frank colleagues that was getting some pictures of you on the roof, probably maybe. For our Instagram.
Maybe, yeah.
The other way around. But what others? What others have you seen?
You know, obviously the Real Atlantis is a phenomenal development, sort of a game changer in Dubai. So.
I'll pay you later.
Yeah, you can pay me later. Yeah. But you know, it is a game changer for the market, and I think that each of the markets where we're building new product or working with developers and advising developers are always looking for ways to differentiate a product, to add a different type of service or a different amenity, you know, better design, more quality finishes, and so any development that's looking to do that in each market and change the game is obviously very interesting for me.
I think actually a lot of people don't realise that the majority of our role is advising, and the consultancy piece for it even comes to market.
Right.
Because, you know, that's really where we add value.
Sure.
Our sales teams are exceptional.
Well, we want to do that because we need to sell the product, right?
Well, exactly. So it's got to be framed and it's got to be delivered in a way that's going to suit our clientele and be the best fit for the market. And I think that's such a shame. You still see it in, again, multiple global markets where people build what they think is the right fit, but actually if they haven't done that consultancy piece properly, clearly with Knight Frank and Douglas Elliman, the best global real estate consultants. But, you know, people can get it really wrong and people can get it really right. So I'm not just going to say this because I'm interviewing you, but I actually genuinely do enjoy working with you. And
thank you.
part of that is because you're very good at what you do, but part of that is also because we get to represent the best projects in the US. So it makes it really easy when I'm speaking to our clients here in the Middle East to, you know, whether it's doing private presentations like we're doing at the moment, or more of a launch party for developments that have come to market. So I'm not sure whether I'm allowed to mention this or not, because it's currently
bits and pieces
off
we
market.
can mention.
But I'm very excited about the project that that you're here to talk to our clients about at the moment. So that is going to kind of redefine the luxury residential market again in New York, right?
Yeah, in a different way. It's a global icon. It's the Waldorf Astoria in New York, and you know the city's been waiting. It was purchased in 2015. And since then it's been closed, and the market's been waiting to see what's going to happen, because it's one of the most famous addresses, certainly in New York, but also around the world. It was it used to be in 1931 when it was built, it was the tallest hotel in the world at the time. Yeah.
So, curveball, non-work related question. Tell me one thing that people wouldn't know about Richard Jordan.
I had a small stint in New York as a DJ. Just like everybody in the world now.
What was your DJ name?
I didn't have one. It was just me
DJ
and my
RJ.
Yeah.
If you were not a real estate global superstar, what would you want to be and why?
I would say probably two different things. A Formula One race car driver, for sure.
No, that's what I want to be.
Sure,
so I've got that gig here.
Just because I love speed.
Yeah.
And I think that it just seems like the best gig on earth to drive at that speed, control a machine like that. And you know, they also are. If you get to that level, you're incredibly successful. But outside of that, something to do with photography. Probably a director of photography in film would be something I would go into, because I enjoy my photography, and obviously I like to edit everything. So.
I'm super envious of your Instagram, because it always looks immaculate.
Right, but no selfies, remember?
No selfies, yeah. Sadly, mine's got a few. I can't have a feed without Maria on it, right? But yours looks incredible, so I can see that. I can see you as a photographer. Yeah. Now, I love my job. You love your job, and you know, it's great because we get to go to the most amazing places. But part of obviously getting there is that we spend most of our life on a plane, which isn't as glamorous as people think.
Yeah, better on paper.
Yeah, much better on paper. But I think it's really important. As the years have passed through my career, I think it's really important to get more of a work-life balance. So we work incredibly hard. So it's important that we also recharge the batteries. So, you know, how do you do that? What does that look like for Richard?
Well, as I mentioned, I like to take trips to different places and you know, ride my motorcycle. That's always a great way to unwind. But then it's just spending time at home. You know, I'm not home, so I like to be as still as possible, and you know, I spend the majority of my time that I can out in our ranch in Connecticut.
Which is stunning, right? You've shown me the pictures of that, and that is the complete polar opposite to
the city.
The city.
Yeah.
It is in the middle of nowhere, like absolutely stunning, like stables and just amazing.
It's a long project, but it's well worth it. Yeah.
I'm always waxing lyrical about how amazing our, you know, global network is at Knight Frank and Douglas Elliman. And, you know, I think sometimes, you know, people think, oh, you know, it's just superficial, and we just talk about it because we're two global companies, you know, working together. But actually, we have a great bunch of people that we work with, and a kind of great sort of family at the two companies. So that said, out of all the Knight Frank Douglas Elliman trips that you've done, what's been one of your favourite or fondest memories?
Oh, you and I have got some great memories, and when we were first in Mumbai for the wealth report, along with a few others. I think Andy Hay was involved in that. That was a fun night out.
Maybe we'll do that for Maria Meets Richard Jordan Part 2.
Yeah, exactly.
So cliffhanger, but anything else?
I think we always have a great time at our Basel. And the global conference. So I think that you know, we enjoy working together, and we're dependent upon one another in each market, because, as I said before, you know, our clients are moving across various markets, and so it's just kind of fun to hang out and let off steam. So, you know, we've got all sorts of different stories where we've had a great time. I'm not sure I can share them all here, but
yeah, actually,
they've involved some late nights in a lot of amazing cities, and I think that's that's just such a great experience to be able to see colleagues in various markets, but we're doing it together, whether it's in Manila or whether it's in Mumbai or Sydney or London, all of which, now we're here in Dubai, all of which, you and I have spent a lot of time together, so yeah.
No, it's, and actually, joking aside, I think that's a huge part of why our businesses are so successful in working together. It's because of that FaceTime, and we literally spend time together in these different markets, and it's important for that trust element that we spoke about earlier.
Right.
So,
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Cool. Well, thank you, Richard.
Well, thank you. Thanks
for
for having
sparing
me.
the time while you're on your 2.5-day trip in Dubai.
Yeah.
And then we'll have to do, we'll do Maria Meets Richard Jordan Part 2 when I'm next in New York.
Sounds perfect.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Thanks.